Hello, guys. Welcome back to the Bar Gym Reviews. Today, are you tired of breaking the bank with $1,000 purchases? I know my wife is. I'm not. But this video is going to be for you. So, this is gym accessories and attachments and everything else, all the way over to comfort for under $100. So, if you would like to find out ways to not break the bank, but still get the bang for your buck, this is the video for you. Please make sure you stick around, though, as I'm going to be jumping from topics to rack attachments, to mobility, to comfort and tech. So anything that you need for your gym for under $100, stick around and find out. Let's start off strong here. So for our first section, we're going to start with lifting essentials. So anything that you might need in the gym that's going to be kind of an essential for you to get a good lift, or maybe even lift heavier, be stronger, or maybe be safe. So let's start with barbell collars. Now, we have a $100 budget here. It's pretty easy to find collars for under $100. You can find collars for under $50 or $30. But let's skip the spring load collars. Let's skip all of that. And we can buy a pretty premium product for under $100. So I want to make one suggestion. Collars, barbell collars, they're great. But it's another thing that you can hang up and it can fall down and you can lose, right? So my suggestion would be to get magnetic collars. So I have two different types of magnetic collars in my gym. One being the Rogue OSO 2.0s. So these are the magnetic ones. These have pretty tight tolerance around the collar. Pro tip, by the way, there's many complaints in the comments, if you read the comments for these on Rogue, that they can't fit it over the bar. If you simply lock it all the way out, it extends it enough, it makes it very easy to slide on. And then also the Titan series here, these spin lock ones, they're a pretty cool device actually. They're also very cheap as well. So again, these are running easily under $100, and they're premium products that add safety for someone that's training in the gym by themselves possibly, but also that peace of mind. But again, with these aluminum collars, they're very, very premium feeling. All right, so next we're going to go over a lifting belt. Specifically, I love lever belts. Now, lever belts have gone up in price a lot recently. A lot of them are in that $120 to $130 range. I believe many of these are just markups, though, for name branding, right? So I personally kind of scoured the internet, specifically Amazon, and I found a lot of options in the $60 up to $100. And of course, I know this is for $100 and less video. But of course, if you're like, man, I really got to spend the extra 20 because, you know, I believe in Jim Reaper or whatever, then I mean, that's another $30, I guess, right? But for me, I bought this. Now, this has been years ago since I bought this, and this is kind of just, you know, a white label lever belt that I bought. I believe I bought it for $60 at the time. You know, inflation and everything else nowadays, probably closer to $80 or $100. But there are numerous lifting belts like this that work just great. It's perfect for someone that's trying to lift heavy, brace their core. Now, if you're going to, of course, be in a federation or something where you're going to power lift or you need a specific type of belt, obviously go with something that is certified in your federation. But for me, lifting in the basement, lifting at home, I know I've deadlifted with this and squatted with this over 400 pounds, and it works just fine. I've had it for probably about 8, maybe even 9 years now, and it works great. So a great accessory for you is a lifting belt, and you can even buy one of the lever belts in that price range. All right, so last in our essential lifting series for the under $100 is going to be loadable dumbbell sleeves. So this is something that I'm assuming you already have weights in your gym. You already have a barbell and you already have weights, and you know, hopefully you have at least a few of the 5s and 10-pound plates, but 25s work as well here. So this can add a lot of versatility to your training for a very low cost. So I look at the Titan series specifically because there's other brands out there that are pretty close to $100, just under $100 or just over $100. However, Titan's a brand that, you know, in the past has received a lot of flack or a lot of bad reviews for the quality. But recently it seems like a lot of people are getting really good products out of them. They've actually had a lot of improvement in the quality of the equipment that they've had. So I would I would definitely recommend little dumbbell sleeves if you're not looking, if you don't have adjustable dumbbells already and you're looking for something right now for under $100 and you already have some existing weights that will fit. All right, so hopefully I've added some value when it comes to our home gym essentials category that are under $100. All right, for the second category and our under 100 budget series here, I'm going to talk about rack attachments, right? So obviously I'm standing in my Rogue RM6 here. I've spent a lot of money on this, and I've obviously spent plenty of money on some of my attachments, but I wanted to find some of the best bang for your buck options that were under $100. So I want to start with number one in this category being the Titan landmine. So a landmine is a great way to add rows, to add shoulder presses, to add squats. There's actually a lot that you can do. You can do a lot of core work with landmines. So it actually has like 1,000,001 different exercises that you can use landmine for. You can use it for hypertrophy. You can use it for explosive training. So there's a lot you can do. And I think it's probably one of the most versatile attachments that you can have on your rack, and you can find it at Titan for under $100 or right at that $100 price point. So first on our list, going to be the Titan landmine attachment. All right, so number two in this category is going to be band pegs. Now, for me, I have the Rogue band pegs, and I did buy them with my power rack, but you can buy them separately for $60. So I'm going to go over these ones just because I use them on a weekly basis, and I have experience with them. So these are a great way to, again, add accommodating resistance. I also have used them in the past for like sissy squats as a handle because they have a stopper at the end. They can kind of get locked in a little bit. So I think it's a great way to add versatility to your training. So if you have a sticking point maybe in your bench, I know most people either stick right at the bottom or about that halfway or 3/4. If you start adding accommodating resistance to that, you can try to get out of that sticking point. So this is a great way to maybe add a little versatility and a little different type of training, especially if you've not done accommodating resistance training with bands. So number two for this category is going to be band pegs. All right, last for this category is going to be a leg roller. Yes, I know, before you start in the comments, this is not under $100. But I am going to talk about leg rollers. So it's the closest thing that I have to a leg roller in my gym. So a leg roller, specifically, we're going to go from Bells of Steel. They have a leg roller for $93.99, at least currently at the start of this video. And there are other options that you could have that are just over $100, but for the sake of the video, we're going to go with the Bells of Steel version. So this is a great way to add, again, you could do Nordic curls. I've done Nordic curls off of my rack using this, kind of pinning those legs down, do it on some sort of padding, but you could do Nordic curls. You could obviously do split squats. There's a lot of versatility that you could add. You could even stack or get multiple leg rollers. And I've seen people do, back extensions and stuff like that. So again, I think a leg roller is a great way to add more versatility to the training, add to the rack, and add a lot of exercises without, again, breaking the bank and spending a ton of money, right? So each one of these upgrades, obviously it transforms your rack a little bit, and it turns your basic stand, or maybe elaborate stand, into a little bit more of a workout home base, right? So these accessories, they give you, I think, commercial level quality, but for a budget price. All right, so our next category is going to be recovery. No matter how hard you train, recovery is what keeps us going in our gyms. So we're going to talk about all things recovery for under $100. So let's start with massage guns, massage balls, massage rollers. There's a lot of things that we can go here. So I'm just going to stick with something that I already have. So yes, massage guns. You can go up with a Theragun and go spend hundreds of dollars. Personally, I think that you can find plenty of budgetary options on Amazon or other companies for under $100. So I believe I got this one. Now, this has been a few years ago, and it's lasted me just fine. And I think it was around the $50 to $60 mark. I'll probably throw some up on screen. I know there's a million different companies here, so I can't really tell you other than look at the reviews. If there's a lot of them and there's a high rating, then you're probably in good hands here. But I think this is a great tool for me, I use it a lot to warm up. So like if I want to get some blood flowing into my legs or into my chest or into my shoulders before a workout, I'll do that. But I also do use it for some sort of deep tissue kind of massage to kind of maybe get a little extra blood flow so I get a little bit more recovery. All right, number two is a little bit of a surprise. I'm gonna go with a slant board, right? So there's many different options here. There's the knee over toes guy. There's the Strong Tech. There's probably some things from Rep and Rogue, and there's probably a million different brands. I'm sure I'll throw some of them on there that are under $100. The reason I put slant board is, this is recovery, but it's also a little bit of mobility here. So ankle mobility is going to be key, and knee health is key overall. So I would suggest using a slant board for stretching, but also for working with exercises under load, right? There's a lot of research out there, and obviously the knees over toes guys can become very popular with this. But adding a slant board can add a little bit to your training, but also help you gain mobility, and then that will gain longevity in your lifts and even in your life. All right, so last in the category, and probably one of the more cost-effective ones on this entire list, is going to be a foam roller. Now, our foam roller has been through a lot. It's kind of old. I think it's something my wife bought because I did not buy this. I would gotta imagine it comes in around $15 or so, maybe 20. But there's some other great options for foam rollers. There's even ones that come with like 2-in-1, 3-in-1s. I think Rep has something like that. That's under $100. Personally, for my next foam roller, I'm probably gonna buy the Rogue USA made ones that start at $26, and then there's also like high density foam, so one that's gonna be a little bit more firm, and they're set about $30. So I think you can get a really premium product. Maybe not premium, not like this. This is not premium, but you can buy a premium product, and you can use this again. I like to use it to roll out my back a little bit. If I'm gonna hit a back day, I kind of like to, again, roll out the muscles a little bit, get a little extra blood flow in there. I don't know if it's a thing or not, but it feels like it like wakes up my central nervous system a little bit or something. And again, just a way to maybe take away soreness, prevent soreness, or even help you warm up for a lift. All right, so overall, recovery never gets the spotlight, right? But overall, if you want to train for a long period of time, and we're talking about longevity, we need to feel good, right? We need to add mobility in order to add strength, maybe lose weight, or just overall be more fit and healthy. So make sure that you spend money on your recovery to make sure that you feel good. And feeling good can make a big difference on how often you train and how hard you train, right? So recovery is key, but it should not bust your budget. So next, speaking of not busting your budget, let's talk about how we can clean up your gym space and add storage for under $100. All right, so you've got the gear. Now let's talk storage. A clean, safe gym, organized gym, that's what you kind of want here, right? Especially for the aesthetics, but also for your workout. So these $100 solutions can help you stay organized and free up some space. So first, I'm going to start with the Rogue 3-bar gun holder rack. Now, I know I have a 6-bar holder here. However, the 3-bar option with a plastic lining is $75. I know that it's an extra cost for the plastic lining, but the plastic lining on these, and I'll show you some B-roll, some close-up here, but is really pivotal for the longevity of your barbell. So if you're spending a lot of money on your barbells and you want to keep them and maintain them and not mess up the knurling, plastic is a great way to do this. Now, the reason I like this kind of piece is because it puts everything on the wall. Vertical barbell storage works great as well. So if that's kind of a solution you're looking for, I just personally like the horizontal ones because it displays the piece and kind of shows off, and it also kind of screams, as my wife would like to say, it screams, I have a barbell collecting problem. As you can see, though, I still have 3 open slots, so feel free to comment which barbell I should get next. So one of my storage solutions for under 100 is the 3 barbell holder, gun rack holder from Rogue. But you could also buy the vertical storage, but also for just a few more dollars, for about $125, you could get, with the plastic lining, the 6 barbell one if you truly have a barbell collecting problem like my wife claims that I have. So either way, let's get your barbells on the wall, off the floor, and out of those. I don't really like those stands that gets them vertically, right? I like to hang them on the wall, right? Display what you own. Be proud of it. All right, so next I'm going to talk about wall control. Now, obviously, I'm a big fan of wall control here. I have 4 panels in my gym total. I got 3 together here. Now, each panel is about $50, and this is for the Signature Series, which is matte black. I know this can easily stretch past the $100, but I think you can get a lot done with one panel and some accessories here or some different hooks. So the reason I like wall control so much is kind of like the horizontal barbell storage. It displays my pieces, but it keeps them visually out there. It's not hidden away in a box somewhere or stuffed into a corner where you're not going to see it or you're going to forget about it, and then maybe don't utilize it or use it as much, right? So for me, I have some of these hooks here that kind of reach out. I also have some really long hooks out here as far as coming horizontally off the wall. The great thing about these wall control units, though, is you don't have to buy the hooks from them. You can actually buy traditional band pegs that have just the hole prongs that kind of, fall down and sit there. I have a few of those because I got them with my Rep Arcadia, and they work on here just as well. So that's something where you can go to the hardware store and find them pretty cheap. Personally, I like to match everything, so it comes with the matte black finish hooks that you can buy, and you can buy them relatively cheap. I want to say like anywhere from like $4 from some of the smaller hooks, all the way up to a little bit more expensive for like maybe the shelving units here. So you could do a lot with the storage, and this is something that you could buy one panel today, and then another month down the line or 2 months down the line, you could buy another panel, and then you could really start stacking these on top of each other, right? So for under $100, you could easily get one panel and some hooks, maybe even a shelf, and you'll get everything under $100, and you can get a few of your pieces up. So if you have some smaller pieces like like an easy curl bar attachment, if you have some ropes and things that you want to hang up, maybe you have a roller like this, you only need a few hooks and one panel, and you can get a lot done with one panel. Personally, I like to spread my things out a little bit. That's why we got 3 panels. I'm even considering maybe a 4th one over here to kind of make everything kind of even. But these are great because you can add shelves, right? So my shelves, pretty great. I have all of my cleaning products. If you're inspired to be a power lifter, maybe you get this, the candy in between sets. But I got like rubbing alcohol. I got my barbell cleaning stuff over here. I got my liquid chalk. I got my glass cleaner for my mirrors. I got my WT-40 silicone for my cable attachments. I got everything that you need, right? So anytime, any kind of upkeep cleaning, it's over here. I have a shelf here. I can put my phone down. I can put my drinks over here. Maybe one day I can add even more. You can get like a panel to put like an extension cord or power bricks up here as well. So that would also be great. Also, you can even utilize underneath it. I kind of just use the very edge of it to get some of my chirp wheels up here and then my lifting straps. And I kind of just all hang them here. So again, I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 attachments just on this one. Plus I have a spot to do some recovery stuff like my chirp wheels. I also have some more room for my lifting straps. And then I have an entire shelf dedicated to just cleaning stuff for the most part. So you can get a lot done with just one panel. So if you get a panel on a shelf or a panel and some hooks, you can get a lot done with this storage solution for not that much of a cost, for under $100. All right, so number 3 on the list is going to be another barbell storage solution. I know before you click away here, it's actually David from Darko and the Darko Lifting Anchors. So under $100, just barely. It looks like they're sitting at $99.99 on the Rogue website, which is newer to the Rogue website, which is quite the accomplishment. And David over at Darko is a tremendous person for our home gym community. So number one, I think you should support him. So this is not a sponsored ad or anything crazy. I just really, really like the products that I've seen. I've watched plenty of videos. I love it when Massonomics went and visited his gym, and there's just so many things that he does that's innovative to our community. And it seems like he's kind of fighting for the little guy, right? So I really, really like, though, that it's so simple yet innovative. For me personally, the top of my rack isn't really utilized, right? So that space up there, many of us don't utilize that space. So in the front of my racks particularly, I don't use it for anything really. So this could be a time, or this could be a place where you have those Darko lifting anchors. They're up there, and you could put, 2 different barbells up there and get them out of the way. And this goes for someone that doesn't have a lot of space and doesn't have a lot of storage options, maybe on the walls or anything like that. So this could be a great way to save a lot of space when it comes to storage for a pretty low price, under $100. So give David at Darko a look. And I really, really think that the anchors are a great, great accessory and a great addition to the Rogue website. But also, if you want to get it in more than just, like black, then obviously buy directly from Darko, because he could do more custom colors. Now, I assume the price is going to be a little bit more, but we're still flirting with that $100 mark. All right, before we move on to comfort and tech, I'm going to give you a little bit of a bonus one. So this is kind of a twofer. So yeah, storage. If you are a person that goes through Facebook Marketplace and kind of finds a random assortment of dumbbells, like my wife, that are kind of lighter weight or whatever, and you need a storage solution, there are many, many little dumbbell trees you can find on Amazon. The only thing I would say is, number one, look at the reviews. Make sure there's a lot of them, and make sure that they have a high star rating on them. So I'd say like 4.5 or higher. And number two, make sure there's enough spots, but also that the lining on there is like maybe some sort of rubber or plastic to kind of save, your dumbbells. I know they're marketplace, but right, we're still trying to have longevity here. My bonus, I guess you could say, is both the weight tree, because you can find plenty of them. Those weight plate storages on Amazon for under $100. Like this one, I believe, was $35 or $40. And it's blue that kind of matches. And then also, weights secondhand. Buy them on Marketplace if you don't care what they look like. If you don't care if they're a random assortment like this one, then just buy it on Facebook Marketplace, right? And that goes for a lot of the things that you can probably find in this video. All right, so overall, storage and smart storage isn't just about aesthetics, right? It keeps our training space safe, efficient, and ready to go at any time. So coming up next, though, we're going to look at tech and comfort upgrades that make your home gym experience more enjoyable and easier to navigate. All right, so let's be real. Your gym should feel like your own private fortress, right? I know that seems overkill, but these budget-friendly tech and comfort upgrades are going to keep you training. They're going to bring the atmosphere, motivation, and convince you to continue to do your workouts, and all for under $100. So, number one, we're going to start with some sort of LED light strips. I kind of like the Govee ones. I like the tube ones. You can add these to your gym. It's not something I personally have, but you can sync them with music, right? You can add some more aesthetics to your gym. You can put them underneath or around your mirror or behind your mirrors if you have mirrors. You can put them, I've seen some people put them around the perimeter, right? Whether that's along the ceiling or along the floor. And that can just add a lot of aesthetics for you. And again, if you feel good in your space and you're excited to lift in your space, then maybe you will lift a little bit more in that space, right? So overall, we're just trying to keep you on track here in your home gym. So one way to kind of make your home gym a fortress and make it something that you're going to utilize, hopefully almost every day, is to add that aesthetic. So that could be some sort of RGB lighting, or even just clear white lighting. So either way that you're going for, Govee lights, I really like some of those. You can find a lot of them for under $100. A lot of them in that like $70 to $90 range. You could also go with the lights that I have, which I've plugged on the channel before. If you look at my essentials video, which I can leave in the description for us, and that just gives me a really bright space, and I really like that bright space. It just keeps the gym more attractive, and keeps it from being like a dark dungeon-y gym. So again, lighting is key here, and you can have some great lighting solutions, including some colorful ones that are even smart and connect to music and connect to your voice, for under $100. All right, so next in our comfort and tech is going to be very tech heavy, and we're going to crank up the tunes here. So we are going to go over smart speakers. Now, you can use whatever you want when it comes to your ecosystem. So that could be at Amazon, that could be Apple. I personally go with Google just because I already have Google, and I just want to integrate that in my entire smart home. But in the gym, smart speakers are great for a lot of reasons. Number one, music, right? Motivation. This gets you going, right? There's a lot of science behind, believe it or not, going over 140 or getting to 140 beats per minute in a song or higher can actually help you perform just a little bit better. So something to think about. But also ease of use, right? So all of my Google Home stuff, my Google speakers, and other speakers from other ecosystems, they can be voice activated. So you could set a timer, right? You could tell it what music, you could tell it to skip music without even using the distraction of your device. So for me, I like the utilization of a smart speaker because you can do all of those things. So if you've ever, if you're ever a morning workout person and you're like, all right, I got an hour and 20 minutes, I got to take a shower before I go to work and all that good stuff, then you can set yourself a timer. That way that timer goes off, or you can give yourself a 10-minute warning timer. And I think this is a great way to structure your workouts, but also it can give you motivation, right? And it just makes the ease of use a lot easier. So for me, you can find Nest audio systems at like $70. I have the Max, which is no longer sold. But also you can get some minis for like 30 or $40, and then they have their kind of mid-range. So imagine these two, had a baby and it was something in the middle. The Nest Audios are about $70. I believe when they're on sale, they go to $50. And that's a really easy way to add some volume, add some music, but also add some ease of use and keep you motivated and keep you going to the gym. All right, our last one in this category is going to be the Synergy Programmable Interval Gym Timer. This is a wall timer that keeps your workouts efficient, on schedule, and it's something I personally wish I had in my gym. Currently, I don't have a timer. I've just been using my kind of tablet, and it connects to my headphones, and then it beeps. So this is a great way to set up intervals, right? So for me, I really enjoy it because, I could be doing a bench session, and then I know, like for hypertrophy, like, hey, I don't want to give myself more than 90 seconds, right? Or more than 60 seconds between sets. So this keeps me on a pace, and it gets my workout done a little bit more efficiently, and I can get my workout done quicker than I might if I didn't have a timer. So I think it's a great thing to have in your gym for a timer. Now, the Synergy Programmable Interval Gym Timer comes in 3 different versions. This is the medium version, just because the small version's like $40, and the medium version comes just at $100 at $99. But you want something that you can kind of see. So if you want to display it somewhere on a wall, maybe towards the top, near the ceiling, then it could be displayed and it could be visualized throughout your entire gym. So definitely something I'm looking into buying here soon. Maybe I'll go with the Synergy, but maybe I'll go with something else. But if we're going to keep it under 100, the Synergy Programmable Interval Gym Timer is a great addition to any home gym. All right, so overall, these tech and comfort make your gym feel like a place that you want to spend time, right? It's a place that you don't just grind in your gym, you don't just sweat and bleed and everything else. These tech and comfort ideas that are under $100 don't break the bank, but they're also small upgrades that make a big difference that keep you consistently showing up to your own gym. It's one of the things that isn't talked about much in the community, but it actually sometimes is a little bit harder to go to your home gym than it is a commercial gym, which sounds crazy, but it's definitely out there. So let's wrap this thing up, but let's talk about what we can all get in the gym for under $100. All right, so that wraps things up for our list of accessories that you can grab for under $100. So whether you're just starting out or you're just looking for some upgrades that, your wife or significant other won't be upset about, these budget-friendly tools can make a huge difference in performance, safety, organization, comfort without wrecking your wallet. So let me know in the comments, what's the best thing that you bought for your gym or that you own for under $100? Or what should I cover next in my next video, right? So if you like what we're doing here at the Bar Gym Reviews, please smash that like button, hit the notification bell, please comment, and we'll see you guys next time.